Well, today is the first day of Mike Hess Brewing Company will be open for drinking and dining. And the brewing company has joined forces with 200 other businesses in the county, and they are protesting the governor's shutdown order. KUSI's Dan Plant live in Imperial Beach. He's got more on all of this for us. Dan?
Yeah, this is the latest business owner to join in this fight. And as you know, we've been talking to this attorney up in the North County. His name's Michael Curran. He and his wife have Curran Law Firm, and they have decided to represent all these business owners pro bono under the assumption that what's happening out here is unconstitutional, both the U.S. Constitution, California Constitution. When an executive order supersedes the Constitution, that's when people have a lot of trouble, especially when, once again, the science is not pointing back to places like this for the increase in the cases. We know where the cases are coming from, and they're not from socially distanced outdoor dining, period. End of story. Every doctor in the state of California will agree with that, yet the politicians continue to have their one-trick pony reaction, and that is close everything down and destroy the economy further. So a lot of business owners, once again, about 250 business owners, and those are the ones who actually are sort of naming themselves, have said, you know what, we're going to challenge this. And the latest is a rather big name in the brewing industry. You probably know him. It's Mike Hess Brewing. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you. And let's start with the fact that, first of all, we're at your Imperial Beach location. Yeah. And let's start with the fact of what brought you to this moment to go ahead and defy this order from the governor.
Well, I mean, it was a number of things, right? We obviously prayed on it. We thought about it. It was a thoughtful consideration. We talked to our team members about whether or not they would be willing to come back to work in light of this. We polled them. Virtually 100% of them wanted to come back to work, not because they were bored, but because they needed to come back to work, because they have bills to pay, just like everybody else does. Yeah. And, you know, and I'm a science guy. I'm a numbers guy. I look at the statistics. I see that we're not actually causing the problem. The problem is caused by other places. You know, they can trace less than 2%, 1.5% maybe to places that are dining, maybe. And so talking with Mike Curran and understanding the constitutional right that we have to have this protest, to allow people onto the property, that's a federal and a state constitution protected right, we're exercising it, and it gets everybody back to work.
How big of a deal is it that you have a lot of company out there?
I mean, there is safety in numbers. You know, we talk about this oftentimes when I'm talking with my other fellow business owners about this thing called it's a gaming theory called prisoner's dilemma, about everybody, you know, running the gate. If they run it one at a time, they're going to get popped, but if they all storm the gate, they're going to make it, right?
Kind of like what happened at the Capitol today.
Sadly. For sure. I mean, that's a terrible situation there, but you know, we're doing something different here. This is a peaceful protest. This is people coming in and our staff being very safe, using sanitized procedures and spaced out dining, and people just enjoying themselves in a safe manner with, you know, the people that they love and the people that they came here with.
Yeah. And Mike is over here sort of showing all that social distance dining out here. Mm-hmm. And we can't read it, but he's just going to flash up there and show the poster that you have put up here, and basically it's a message to your neighbors, you know, and share that with us, the basic message here.
Well, you know, here we're on the main drag here in Imperial Beach, which is a beautiful town. We're right on Seacoast, and we're exposed. You got 6,500 square feet, so we're not going to be able to hide it. So I printed out this large banner that explains what we're doing. We talk about the 60% of restaurants, salons, and gyms that are closed, probably for good because of COVID. We talk about our teams need to go back to work, and we also talk about the fact that this is a constitutionally protected right that we have, that we can have a peaceful protest and people can come in and enjoy themselves. And that's why we're doing this. This is a legal protest, as opposed to, you know, some of these orders that have been handed down.
Well, right, because these are not, we've made it very clear that these are orders, not laws. Laws are voted on by legislatures and councils. Correct. And they are approved and go through the process. None of this has gone through any of those processes. This is an order under an emergency cloud of a very evil virus that's floating around. But instantly, you have gotten reaction, Mike Hess, being Mike Hess. Apparently, somebody here in the city has, well, a little notice for you.
Yeah, I mean, it took sooner than I had hoped, although it wasn't unexpected. We did get a notice from Andy Hall, the city manager here of Imperial Beach, within about 3.5 hours of us opening, asking us if, in fact, that's what we were doing, if Mike was holding a protest. And, you know, and hoping that we weren't, and threatening our business license and things like that, which, you know, there may be some issues with that. We referred it to our attorney. Our attorney has already written back to Andy saying, look, this is a county and a state issue. This is not a city issue. You as a city manager understand you have a concern, but this is really not your fight. And so, you know, we'll let the attorney and the city manager work it out. But we're going to continue to operate because what we've seen is that, for instance, the governor and the mayor are assigning to themselves all of these powers which are unconstitutional. And they, for some reason, think that they have this duty to keep everybody safe. When they raise their hand, like I did 30 years ago when I became a commissioned officer in the Navy, we said we are going to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And their duty is not to keep us safe, but to protect our rights. And that's what we are here peacefully protesting.
All right, Mike Hess, a big name jumping out in front of this thing. You know, 250 businesses total have joined in on this protest. Michael, thank you so much for joining us here today once again. And this is day one of the peaceful protest, and it's not only at this location, but all of the Mike Hess locations. And they're doing everything as safely as they can. The amount of money that he told me that he spent to create this scene out here, about $500,000. I mean, talk about spending money, talk about investing to attempt to abide by the regulations and the social distancing, and then to have the government come along one day and just arbitrarily change the rules. It's a very, very tough situation out here, as you know, but a growing number of people, and this truly is a peaceful protest. As you can see all around me, this is very peaceful. People are enjoying themselves. Nobody's getting angry. Not yet, anyway. So, you know, this is the way it's going, and eventually I guess it'll make it to court, and at that time the attorney, Michael Curran, is hoping to put the burden on the state of California to prove that these are the places that are causing the problem, and if they can't prove that, leave them alone. Bottom line. And obviously the science does not point back to these places. So heads are spinning everywhere about this whole thing. Obviously, this is a crazy deal from the very beginning. Our heads were spinning. We didn't know how to deal with it. We've learned a lot over the past 10 months, but apparently those lessons are not soaking in for certain people who are making very important decisions. So hopefully as we move forward, common sense and science will take over for the politics and the agendas that are happening out here. We are in IB, beautiful Imperial Beach. The sun just set. People are having a good time. Safely, and that's what's going on. See you back here at 6.
All right, Dan, certainly some interesting legal issues to discuss there. Appreciate the live report. Thank you.
UC San Diego